What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the AFC South Roundtable, where we bring the best of the best in the AFC South together to talk football, baby. Y'all know what time it is. We are here, we are live, and we are ready to go. How you feeling today, Ruben?
Man, I'm feeling blessed and highly favored. Houston Texans looking to make this a championship roster. They made a couple of moves today that has everyone excited here in H-Time. I am feeling dangerous. Shout out to Baker Mayfield.
Dangerous? That's what I love to hear, man. UCF Jaguar, what's the business?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling like number 2, and you can take that in all different ways that you want to right now. I'll move on to Derek.
Derek, talk to us. Go ahead, Derek. You good?
All right, sounds good. Hey, listen, I'm excited for the Houston Texans and all these other teams, putting all these championship rosters together, man. I want everybody at their peak. So then that way, when my team wins this division next year, it feels so much sweeter, baby.
Titan Rossi, how you feeling, boss?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm excited. Will Levis next year with Brian Callahan. I mean, we win 9 games, we possibly win this division. So, I mean, that's what it's been over the last few years. So, you never know, man.
Well, we got a lot to get into, and the people want to hear you guys' thoughts on several things, but we got to start off with the biggest story of the week. It looks like the Indianapolis Colts have a quarterback controversy. One quarterback has made the Pro Bowl, and then they have a young rookie who's coming in. Talk to us, Ruben. What are your thoughts on this situation?
Listen, man. Listen. Gardner Minshew was one game away from the playoffs. It was one running back drop pass away to getting to the postseason. You are a Pro Bowler for a reason, Gardner Minshew, and that was because you are one of the very best at your position. No one thought you were going to be the starting quarterback. It was only supposed to be AR-15. He gave you 1 quarter and a half. You come in and take the league by storm. Gardner Minshew, you finally get your opportunity to be on a team. They believe in you. You finally have weapons, and you're 1 game away. You're 1 pass away from not only a wild card spot, but the AFC South division, and you want to give that away, Derek, for a guy that played only 1.5 quarters in week 1 and 2?
Do you want me to respond to that one?
Why not? Why not?
In the 10 quarters of football that Anthony Richardson played in, had 7 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew in his last 8 games as an Indianapolis Colt, 8 touchdowns. Do I need to? And bro, I know you're trolling me, and I appreciate the effort with the Pro Bowl, because every other quarterback in the NFL decided they didn't want to do it. So Gardner's like, okay, I'll take it, please. I have nothing to do with my offseason because I know I'm not getting re-signed by the Indianapolis Colts this offseason. So I'll just go ahead and occupy my time, dude. No, there ain't no controversy. What?
So he's gone for sure, 100%.
That's my feeling on it. I don't believe that Indianapolis is going to keep him around because he might be looking for an opportunity to be a starter somewhere else, like with one of these other teams that doesn't have great quarterback situations, or at least maybe getting a little extra money to be the backup for another team. But from my understanding of it, I know he wants to stick around, but at the same time, I don't really think that Indy's going to want to pay him a lot of money because they got to retain a lot of their other guys to keep their young core around. And I think they may just go younger in the draft and just draft another late round quarterback to try to be something similar to Anthony Richardson, because Gardner Minshew's skill set is completely the opposite of Anthony Richardson's. And Shane Steichen has to devise 2 different offensive game plans for Gardner Minshew and for Anthony Richardson. So I think they may be just looking for a quarterback that actually has a similar skill set that they don't have to do that. No, there's no quarterback controversy. There never was a quarterback controversy. From the first week of training camp, everybody knew that Anthony Richardson was the better quarterback than Gardner Minshew, and it's going to continue to be that. I mean, you just by listening to what the Colts players say about Anthony Richardson and how highly regarded they feel about him and what he can become, just having to, try to get over that season-ending injury that he had. So there's no controversy. Anthony Richardson will be QB1 next season, no doubt.
Well, Derek, how many games did Gardner Minshew actually play, though?
He started, and I believe it was actually 13 games.
Damn.
This year.
Wait, so Gardner Minshew has played more games this year than Anthony Richardson has quarters?
Yeah, basically.
That's incredible. I mean, dude.
And yet somehow, some way, he had, maybe one more touchdown in his last 32 quarters of football.
But there's no game tape out on Anthony Richardson. But I don't know. I think you're taking for granted Gardner Minshew and his services, kind of like us Jaguar fans did. And I don't know. I think at the end of the day, you say there's no quarterback controversy, but you're out here on Twitter defending the crap, saying all these Colts fans, hey guys, it's AR-15 at number one. I don't know. I just
AR 100%, baby. And listen, just because you're having withdrawal about your franchise quarterback and how Gardner Minshew has better stats than him through his first 50 starts, that's fine, man. That's fine. But I know mine. I know mine's gonna get his. You can say all the time about if everyone wants to make fun of him because he missed his rookie season because of, having his shoulder ripped out a little bit. I mean, that is what it is. A lot of people have those kinds of injuries, and he certainly isn't the first rookie who's ever had rotator cuff surgery at any point throughout their entire NFL career. So y'all can keep trashing it all you want, but Anthony Richardson is the real deal. And Gardner Minshew is a certified backup for a reason.
I just don't want you taking Gardner Minshew for granted, because next year, maybe week 7, week 8, you might be that old Wolverine meme with the picture frame, man. Like, you might be missing him, and you might be saying, what? We should give a team a 3rd round pick
by my bedside of Andrew Luck every day. Okay, that's how I feel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just really interesting times, just knowing that Anthony Richardson, wasn't able to make it through his rookie year. Is it an injury concern long term? Is this something that can keep happening to him? Time will only tell, but I would think they would need a reliable quarterback just to make sure, because I also wanted to ask you, Derek, is this team ready to win now, or are they still in the building stages?
We're still in the building stages easily, because this is the second youngest team in the NFL right now. There's just way too much youth on this team to be a serious contender right now. I have confidence that this team can beat anyone in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. But if you're asking me, like, if they were to be put into the playoffs in replacement of some of these other teams, we face the Ravens again. I highly doubt we win it. I don't think we beat the Chiefs right now the way they're playing, and a few different other things that go on. So they're just too young. They're inexperienced. They just got to get Richardson some more time. And if they can put in a couple of key veterans on the rest of this roster, then this is a team that definitely can compete with anyone in the NFL.
Awesome. I want to switch gears real quick over to UCF Jaguar. Tell me a little bit about the defensive coordinator hire, and let me hear about that first, and then I got another question for you.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I was ready to be disappointed, but that was actually a really, really good hire from the Jaguars. I mean, he's an up-and-coming guy. I mean, he has, I guess, great words from, when he was a defensive line coach for the Saints and even the Falcons last year, where, he turned the Falcons defense into a pretty good unit with a bunch of players that aren't really super highly regarded. And I know when he looked around, Falcons fans were disappointed to, have him gone. He's a team that he generated a lot of sacks from, a team that, can anybody even name an edge rusher for the Falcons? I mean, can anybody name any pass rushers for them besides like Calais Campbell? I mean, they didn't really have, a lot on that end, and he was able to do a lot of good things. So, and the Jaguars last time with defense coordinator Mike Caldwell, they went with a guy that, had never been a defense coordinator before. And a lot of times when you go wrong in one area, you want to kind of reverse field and do something else the next time. And, they bring in a guy who's been a defense coordinator. He runs a little bit different of a system. The Jaguars ran a lot of zone with their last year, with the defense from last year. Then this guy is more of a man press type of defensive coach. So they're going to have to, really evaluate their personnel to see, what they're going to do, because I know a lot of times, you fit your scheme around your players, and, right now the players aren't really built to play the defense that he wants to call. So I don't know if that's going to call for an overhaul of some players on the roster or what, but overall we got a good defense coordinator, I think. And I was ready to be disappointed, but I was actually pretty happy about this one.
Interesting. I want to stay with you real quick because are you guys going to be able to keep Josh Allen?
Yeah, the Trent Baalke, the GM of the Jaguars, had a press conference last week, and he said that Josh Allen will be a Jaguar next year. And, but the disappointing thing was from Josh Allen's camp is that they haven't really been working on, any kind of contract extension or anything yet. So I imagine, Josh Allen's too good to let go. I imagine they placed a franchise tag on him, and, it gives them a little bit of time. Last year, they placed a franchise tag on Evan Ingram, and 4 months later in July, they gave him his actual contract. So I think what the franchise tag will do, it's going to buy them some time to be able to, go through and buy some, get some free agents. It's going to let them go through the draft. And then once kind of a dead period comes for a GM where, he's, when OTAs is going on in June and July are taking place, where as a GM, I don't really know what you do during those months, but, he'll kind of be able to get some time to sit down and really knock out a contract to make him, lock him up as a Jaguar for the next, 5 seasons.
And what round was he drafted?
He was drafted in the first round. I think it was like pick number 7. It was like right after Daniel Jones got drafted. Like if you go back and watch Giants fans after Daniel Jones got drafted, they all wanted Josh Allen, but Daniel Jones got drafted. But yeah, he fell to us in a lot of respects, and it was cool that we were able to snag him like that.
So you made him play his 5th-year option.
Yeah, he played on his 5th-year option. So, but the thing about him was like, he had double-digit sacks his rookie season, and he never had it the next like 3 years. And he was a little bit underwhelming. He was getting injured a litlittle bit, but this season he turned it on and got 17 and a half sacks.
Yeah,
broke a single season franchise sack record for the Jaguars, and he was a game wrecker. And he's one of those guys you don't let leave, because if you let Josh Allen go, you don't get another one of those guys unless you're drafting the top 5. They just don't become available, and he was a beast. So so they find a way to bring him back. I wish they were working out more of a deal right now to lock him up earlier, but this isn't tough, man. You give him the money, you give him whatever the market is supposed to give to him. I don't know what those numbers are, but whatever they are, whatever the market, whatever another team would give to him, we should be giving to him.
Well, here's the issue. This is what I find, and I want to get your take on this, UCF. We say give him the market, but now he has the Jacksonville Jaguars where he wants them, where he knows he can get more than the market. Because if you allow him into free agency, I always tell people this, there's always that one dumb team that will overpay him massively. There's always. No matter who it is, you let somebody go that's great in full free agency, there is always that one team that will overpay him to a point to where you're like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Him knowing that, you forced him to play his 5th option and prove it. He bet on himself and he won. If he's asking for above market, do you concede?
You probably do. What else? The thing is, he's going to be playing on his franchise tag, like if he doesn't accept a new offer. And we all know players hate the franchise tag. You know what I mean? If you get hurt, you get an Achilles tear, then all of a sudden you're going to lose out on millions of dollars because these guys just don't really come back the same. So, I imagine the Jaguars give him a generous deal. It's not like, last year it's tricky with, Evan Ingram, for example, because, he's the only player that we should have really put a franchise tag on. There wasn't, this year it's like we have Calvin Ridley. So there's that, that you could put a franchise tag on. But last year is only Evan Ingram. And tight end contracts are tricky because like they are players that want a lot of money. And if you look at them, like Evan Ingram in a lot of senses is like a slot wide receiver, but slot wide receivers get way more money than tight ends. So it's a tricky contract to do. But for a premier edge rusher in the NFL at his age and what he just went out and did, I mean, this isn't that hard of a contract to knock out. You know what I mean? You're not. It's a premium position on a team that, look, are the guy on the team with the third highest sacks was like 3.5 sacks. And it was a defensive tackle. You know what I mean? Like, you let him go and you got a massive, massive hole. So it's just, it'd be gross negligence for anything like this to go on. And he's not going anywhere.
Interesting. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that situation. We definitely want to see how that works out, because it can get ugly, because he can decide not to play on the tag as well. So we'll just keep our eyes on it. Before we move forward, because I have a few questions for the Texans and the Titans, we want you all to know that this stream is being powered by BetUS. Receive a 125% bonus. The link is in the description of the video. With that 125% bonus, it is up to $2,500, 24/7 customer service, and 24-hour payouts, ladies and gentlemen. And as you see, the big game will take place in about a week and a half, and the stage has been set. The BetUS lines right now has the San Francisco 49ers favorites as -2. The money line, if you pick Kansas City, is +110. Over under right now set at 47.5. Titan Rossi, do you think the score in the Super Bowl will be over or under 47.5?
I think it's gonna be over.
Okay.
I do. I think it's gonna be one of those type of games where I don't know if it's gonna be much over, but I think it's just gonna be a tad over.
It's interesting because BetUS has everything just about that you can put something on. We're talking about even the coin toss, ladies and gentlemen. They just have so much. Derek, heads or tails?
I'm going to just be the opposite of Ruben just because. I'm going to go ahead and do heads.
Hey, heads gets you ahead, man.
Hey.
And tails doesn't fail. Something's wrong there. Something's wrong. We're going to find out which one, but you see on the screen all the different odds on BetUS that you can take advantage of. Get in the game. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. Now, a quick word from our sponsor, BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
BetUS, where the game begins. Take advantage of the opportunity with the 125% bonus. Link is in the description of the video, ladies and gentlemen. All right, real quick, I want to move forward, and I want to talk to Titan Rossi real quick. What's going on with the coaching search in Tennessee?
Yeah, so I mean, they're searching right now. They've had a few offensive coordinators come in. I know one of the big names is Eric Studeville, I think. He worked with Callahan for like 5 years in Denver, and a lot of people are really high on him. Now, obviously, I mean, Brian Callahan has already said he's going to call the plays, which is interesting because he didn't call the plays in Cincinnati. Now, I mean, Zach Taylor has said that he did have a lot to do with the play calling, that there were a lot of moments in the game, especially in the red zone, where he would ask Zach. I mean, he was in the headphones with Zach the entire game. So he would ask Zach, hey, give me a couple plays, give me a couple passing plays and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see Callahan as a play caller. And, if he can handle it, if he can handle the pressure, that I believe he will. I believe that the Titans ownership is faithful that he will, and that's the reason they brought him in. and I, it'll be interesting to see if he does a good job at it. Especially with we don't know what the Titans are going to do. I mean, the interesting thing is Derrick Henry right now. And Callahan has said good things about potentially bringing him back and what it would look like and things like that. I hope they do bring Derrick back. Now, like you said, TD, there's a team out there that is going to overpay Derrick Henry. I mean, that's just what they're going to offer him, some crazy number, and I think at 9 million, I think is what the number has been brought up, 9.5 million. I don't think he's, as far as the Titans are concerned, I don't think that's a number you should pay him as the Titans. I'm looking more at like 7.5. If he's at that number with the Titans to come back with them, you bring him back. I think you do. I mean, I think that's a great combination with Tajay Spears and him. Now, is he willing to take a reduced role in Callahan's offense? That would be the next question. But I think there's going to be a team out there that offers Derrick 9 or 10 per year, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, or whatever else. And if I was Derrick, I would run to a team that is potentially has a Super Bowl roster. That's what I would do. But who knows?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because, I mean, I don't see the harm in bringing Derrick Henry back, especially while you're still in a rebuild phase and you have the money to do so. But there's a lot of rumblings that in the first round, you're looking at taking a wide receiver. How true do you think that is? And what do you agree with that?
If Joe Alt is not available, I think you do. If Malik Neighbors is available at that spot and Joe Alt is not, I don't think you can't pass on him. Or even the guy from Penn State, Odunze, I think that's how you say it. But he's another guy that could potentially be a game changer. And I'm not as sold on the Fashanu from Penn State as I am Alt. So if Alt isn't available, then I think, I mean, you got to go with a guy like Neighbors or Odunze. I mean, unless Marvin Harrison falls in your lap, which I don't think he will. But for me, it's Joe Alt or nothing as far as tackles go. So Joe Alt, if he's not available, get a receiver.
Nice. All right. Well, let me switch gears to the Houston Texans, the leader in the division. Listen, man, big news this week. A few days ago, you guys extended the you extended the offensive coordinator, but the QB coach extended as well. How huge is that, and what does it mean for CJ Stroud keeping that continuity together? Because these guys were looking at other opportunities as well, but they upped their pay, did what it took to keep them there with CJ.
I mean, I look on Twitter right now, and everyone in Houston is going crazy. Once again, General Manager Nick Caserio invests into CJ Stroud. You talk about Bobby Slowick, his first year as an OC, follows D'Amico Ryans to San Fran. He started as a PFF guy. Did a fantastic job this season. Got I think about 4 or 5 head coaching interviews. We thought Bobby Slowick was gone here in the H. But you see what CJ Stroud did in year 1, and as phenomenal as he was, you have to give some credit to Bobby Slowick. When you also look at what this entire Houston Texan offense went through, you started a game against the Steelers with 4 out of your 5, offensive linemen out. You lost Tank Dell against the Denver Broncos. You cannot rely on any wide receiver other than Nico Collins and tight end Dawson Schultz down the stretch. Give this offense some weapons. Give Bobby Slowick some weapons. Let him cook and let him go be a head coach next year. With Gerard Johnson, this is, our quarterback coach who we gave an extension to just 30 minutes ago, has been around CJ Stroud since he was in high school. Since he was in the Elite 11 competitions, Gerard Johnson and CJ Stroud are very close. He himself got multiple offers to go be an offensive coordinator. It is crazy and huge that he just let us know that he is coming back to the H. CJ Stroud is very happy. And next year, when Bobby Slowick leaves and become a head coach, Gerard Johnson is going to be the guy that gets promoted to offensive coordinator. You have continuity, like you just mentioned, with CJ Stroud throughout the important years of a rookie, his first 3 developing into a star, and you're going to continue that. I absolutely love it. Everyone in Houston loves it, and Nick Caserio is already killing the offseason for the Houston Texans.
Nice, man. Listen, I want to ask you all just one question. We'll go around the table. Give me your 1 minute thought on this question. How is your team supposed to be able to compete and keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs, teams like the Baltimore Ravens? Because there's levels to this. And if we want to be transparent and honest, the Chiefs are on a level of their own. Then you got another level of teams like Baltimore, Buffalo, those guys. And then there's everyone else. Give me your quickest take on what is your team going to need to do this year to even be able to compete with those teams? Let's start with Derek.
Well, the number one thing is obviously Anthony Richardson just needs to get that experience. He needs to stay healthy. He needs to play, because I feel like Anthony Richardson has the talent and the ability to be a great quarterback in this league as long as he remains upright. And as far as getting more weapons, I think the Colts have a solid plethora of weapons right now. I'm always for trying to get more right now. I mean, but you have Jonathan Taylor, you have Michael Pittman, you have this young kid in Jelani Woods who at tight end who's 6'7" and 260 pounds and can run a 4.6. He's one of the best athletes at the tight end position that I've seen ever. And when it comes to, trying to add another weapon here or there, I feel like we got it to a point where, you have a really great offensive line. I feel like if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, this offense can lead this team to whatever it wants to be. But the main thing with the Indianapolis Colts to compete with Kansas City, they've got to do an overhaul on defense. And I don't know what it is exactly that they need, but they need practically everything, because this defense that Indy runs, it's predicated on having an elite secondary and having consistent pressure on the quarterback. Now, the problem is Indy can do all of these things with, I feel confident in our secondary to do it, but the edge pressure, it's not great right now. And our defensive coordinator runs a scheme that we're not able to, run things. So defense has to get a lot better in order for us to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. Well, Titan Rossi, give me your 1 minute answer on what do you guys got to do? I know it may seem like you're far away, but how do you feel about that question?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Titans just need to start playing offense. I mean, it's just, the last 2 years we've averaged 17 points per game. It's been awful being a Titans fan. Like it's been absolutely atrocious to watch this team play offense. And, obviously offense puts people in the seats, and it's just been a sinking ship for the last 2 years. And, Will Levis is that quarterback that we finally have been. It's the first quarterback we've been excited about since Ryan Tannehill took over and had those 2 seasons, the season and a half, where he just played really well. Now, I mean, he had a great team behind him. He had a great offensive line, wide receivers, and all that. So that's how you do it. You have to bring in the players that are gonna be able to build that offense that can compete with the Chiefs. I'm not worried about the defense. I think they've been on the right track for the most part.
For the most part with Vrabel, but we'll see if that keeps up. It'll be very interesting to see over time. UCF, 1 minute. Tell me how you guys can keep up or even compete with the Chiefs, knowing what we know.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not someone that has a lot of confidence in our owner or our GM, but I do have all the faith in the world in Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I have calmed myself down a little bit about propelling them too much, because all of us were talking about CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. No one's really talking about Trevor Lawrence, and I kind of want to keep it that way because, while everybody has their attention all over the place, I think the Jaguars are at their best when there are no expectations. So right now, I think the work is quietly being put in, and Look, the Jaguars are right middle of the road when it comes to cap space, so they have some roster maneuvering to get around. But I think if we can just build up the trenches, rebuild the offensive line a little bit, bolster up the interior of the defensive line, if we can just control the trenches, because that's what went wrong last year. The Jaguars had no run game because of the offensive line. Trevor Lawrence was constantly getting hurt, and we were getting gashed in the run game. So if you can just get that right, you don't have to be perfect at the skill positions or in a secondary. It's just we got to figure out the trenches. That's the main thing for us right now.
Awesome. Ruben, you take it away because you were the closest this year.
Hey,
but still might seem so far.
Yeah,
what do y'all need to do?
It sucked, but this is the first time in a while that general manager Nick Caserio was going to have free agency and the draft to make this a champion roster. What I need to see him do to have this Houston Texans team compete with the Kansas City Chiefs, you need to bring in stars. You need to bring in someone on defense that's game-changing. To me, that is Justin Matabuke, defensive lineman from the Baltimore Ravens, about to hit free agency. They're going to do everything in their power to get him. Houston Texans need to be in that conversation, a game-changing defensive tackle. On the offensive side, man, you got to bring in someone who can help you run the football. The Houston Texans only had 3 100-yard rush performances all year, and they were all victories. Someone we are looking at, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, both free agents, both dudes who could change this Houston Texan offense. Our main goal right now is to get all the weapons for Coleridge Bernard Stroud until you make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL in a couple of years.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Teams that are so far away but so close at the same time. You heard it here. We thank you all for tuning in to the AFC South Roundtable once again, powered by BetUS. Receive a 125% bonus. Link is in the description of the video. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. We appreciate you all. Until next time, we love you. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the Pro Bowl. Peace. Gardner Minshew, we're out.
Hey, Minshew,
season.